is JJ. I'm from St. Louis. I've born and raised and lived there my whole life. I was 9 years old when I found out that I had diabetes. As I started to get the symptoms, I started to, unfortunately, have to use the restroom frequently. I lost 30 pounds in like a couple weeks, and so my mom was like, something's up, so she decided to take me to the pediatrician. Didn't know why I was going, thought it was a routine checkup, and then kind of got the unfortunate news that my blood sugar was like 500, and that's not normal, and so I spent the holidays at the hospital that year. They diagnosed me with type 1 diabetes. At that point, my doctor spoke with me, but decided to go down the path of traditional insulin because that was the most common thing at the time. When I first received the insulin injections, it was through a vial, so I had to actually draw the insulin out with a needle and then administer that way. So that was obviously cumbersome and had some help from my parents, but I didn't really want my dad administering the insulin because he had kind of a shaky hand, so I kind of took control of that part of it pretty early on. But then after a couple of years, switched over to insulin pens and had been using that for the last 15 years or so. I was having a difficult time keeping my blood sugars in range and having to take too much insulin at times. It's where I'd have these kind of highs and lows, and so that kind of triggered something in my doctor to have me connect with my dietitian. So it was kind of a whole care team mentality there. And she actually heard me out and got to understand my story that, hey, I'm trying to exercise, I'm trying to do all these things, I'm eating well. And so she said, I think there might be a drug on the market that, you may not be aware of. And so they mentioned that there was a medication out there called Afrezza that might actually solve some of the challenges that I was facing. And I'm really glad that I took that jump because it was an inhaled version, so it was a different delivery method. And so that appealed to me for a couple reasons, but primarily it was a bit more discreet, and it gave me the opportunity to maintain my blood sugars effectively without having to carry a bunch of stuff around all day long. Since starting the medication, for the first couple weeks, I had a little bit of a cough because I was inhaling something. It's a fine powder, and so getting used to inhaling something like that on a regular basis, there's a little bit of a tickle, but that subsided after the first couple weeks. This is just my experience. Others may be different. My advice for those that struggle with, being scared or not wanting to be upfront about the fact that they have diabetes with others is that there's really a strong feeling of empowerment when you take control of your diabetes and actually, own that you have it, because you can manage it much better. People around you can support you, and you don't feel like you have to carry that burden alone.
Afrezza is a rapid-acting inhaled insulin used to control high blood sugar in adults with diabetes mellitus. Afrezza can cause serious side effects, including sudden lung problems and low potassium. Afrezza is not for patients with chronic lung disease such as asthma or COPD. Tell your doctor if you smoke, recently stopped smoking, have ever had kidney or liver problems, a history of lung cancer, or if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. The most common side effects are low blood sugar, cough, and sore throat. Severe low blood sugar can be fatal. Do not replace long-acting insulin with Afrezza. Afrezza is not for use to treat diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not take Afrezza if you are allergic to insulin. Talk to your doctor before changing your Afrezza dose. Blood sugar may need to be checked more frequently. Please see accompanying full prescribing information for Afrezza.